recording. Hello, everyone. Well, I'm happy to have you on the call, and welcome everyone who joined at this time of the day. I know for some people it is early morning, for other people it is late in the evening, for some it's just the end of the working day, so I really appreciate that you guys have joined. And I must say that I'm grateful for this opportunity. Thank you, Darilyn, for inviting me to present this particular presentation. I mean, we had a slightly different conversation with you about, the experience that your team had with crypto, and some of the disappointments that your team might have had with crypto scam. And this is how we started this conversation. And then we said that it may be good to bring certain awareness about crypto, and this sparked the initiative to create a call for explaining the crypto fundamentals. So my name is Nasco, and I will start the presentation right now. And let's welcome all of these people who will be joining. And since we are recording, we would be having also the recording for those who missed the presentation. So let me start like this. Why are we here? I really needed to reflect on this question, because when I prepared the presentation, I needed to find the balance between the humongous amount of information that we normally have around crypto and cryptocurrencies, and the fact that we just have maybe an hour and some minutes to cover all the information. So I wanted to approach it in such a way that everyone benefits, regardless of their experience with crypto and their experience with crypto platforms. So I was thinking that, why are you here? It is because someone really cares about you, and that's why they invited you or posted the invitation? Is it because someone wanted you to share a gift of knowledge? Someone wanted to give you a fighting chance to build a sustainable income with crypto and understand a little bit the principles behind crypto, so you become much more secure and confident in using crypto. And because this someone believes in you. So this presentation is all about you. When it comes to my part, I realized that it is my purpose in life to support people in their well-being, mental health, financial well-being. So I'm a firm believer of people's potential. So I am so much convinced that when people discover their potential, they can fulfill completely their purpose in life. And this inspires me to become a sovereign individual and to learn how to become a sovereign individual, meaning independent of of governments, of infrastructure, independent of economy, crises, etc., so that I can pass this gift to others. So I'm let's say, a permanent student, a person who learns and tries to share my knowledge with others. I still hear some background noise. Can you guys please mute yourself so we can continue without the background noise? Thank you. Okay, so let's start from here. A very short disclaimer, the information that I'm presenting here today is purely for educational purposes only. It is my intention to bring awareness about cryptocurrencies. Therefore, I'm basing this presentation on my personal understandings, my beliefs, and personal experience, which is about not more than maybe 5 years, but intensive. Therefore, this presentation is not affiliated to any crypto business. It is not also an incentive for you to invest in crypto or to forget all about crypto. It is about being open-minded about what you're going to hear, because I would like to present the cryptocurrencies from a slightly different perspective. There are so many trainings and courses online that I am far from, being comfortable that I would explain everything in 1 hour. So for me, the important part is to bring awareness. And having said that, I decided to split this presentation in three major chapters. One chapter, one part of this presentation, which is in three chapters, is about understanding why we need crypto. What is the purpose of crypto? Why crypto exists in the first place? Therefore, in order to introduce this, I decided to bring a couple of notes regarding the basics of finance. Because the reason we have crypto is because there is something wrong with the financial system. And I would like to share with you a couple of things, therefore justifying the reason for crypto to exist. And once we have this, we will be diving into the world of crypto, where I can explain what is a crypto currency, what is the difference between coin and a token, different wallets. We will go through, let's say, the process of creating a transaction with crypto, all the way to crypto scams. And then we would be reaching to the third part of the presentation, which is all about future trends, which are based on cryptocurrencies and the technologies behind them. So all of this has the intention to bring awareness. So buckle up, there will be a lot of information, and I hope it will not be overloading you. You just enjoy the ride, and the most important is have fun. And at the end of this presentation, I will open the floor for some questions, and let's see how far we get. I'm going to be trying to have this presentation for 45 minutes and then 15 minutes of Q&A. Okay, so let's start with understanding why we have crypto in the first place. And for that, I would like to bring to your attention a couple of common terms which are from the financial, let's say, domain. And by explaining those terms, we would be hitting into the meat on the bone when it comes to cryptocurrencies. Okay, so in order for us to have the common language and for you to understand what I'm saying in the next 1 hour, I would like to introduce 5 things. So the first thing is what we call an asset. A very related term next to the asset is liability. Then I would like to share with you an understanding about what is a store of value and how it is related with the current financial system and the crypto financial system. What is the definition of a money and how money are different than currencies? So let's dive in. Assets versus liabilities. Let's know the difference about this, because this is really the foundation of finance. And from here on, we can assess how valuable cryptocurrencies could be or not, depending on how we see them and how we use them. So when we talk about assets, we are talking about resources or things that we own. These are things that produce value. In a broader term, they bring income. Examples for assets are those that you see below. So this could be cash. So cash money could be an asset that you can use right now to produce value or to bring income. This could be an inventory. It could be invoices that you send to your clients. It could be real estate that you have, trademarks, innovations, patents, everything that you actually have, and it can produce value. So it brings income. It could be a repeating income, like a recurring income, like a real estate, but it could be also one-time income. As long as this is an income that is brought to you, then we consider this thing as an asset. By the way, foreign currencies, if you invest in foreign currencies, at some point they might also become an asset because they might revalue, and therefore they bring additional income to you. On the other side of the spectrum, we have the liabilities, or these are the things that cost you. So these are the debts that you have. These are things that consume value. They normally cost income. So the assets, they produce income, they bring income, like, for example, your salary. But liabilities, they cost income. Here are some examples of liabilities. These are the daily and the monthly expenses that you have, your mortgage, loans of any type, bills that you're paying, or invoices that you're paying. I must put here cars, boats, rentals, taxes. I would like to put here also money in a bank. Like in the Netherlands, a year ago, the interest rate was negative. So actually having your money in the bank was costing you. So it's important to understand the difference between assets and liabilities, because this is the way you see things in a different shape or form when it comes to your finances and financial basic literacy. Okay, another term, store of value. According to the dictionary, a store of value refers to an asset, so it brings obviously some value, or a form of money that retains its worth or purchasing power over time. Here on the screen, you see some examples of store of values or things that retain their worth or purchasing power behind them in time. So these are the precious metals like gold, silver, platinum, etc. Real estate, government bonds with low risk and high yield. It could be also rare art. And very soon we will see also another candidate for being a store of value, meaning that it will be an asset that can retain its value, its worth, and its purchasing power over time. So an interesting aspect of let's say a store of value asset is that this would be an asset that is durable. So it's resistant in time and conditions. It is scarce. It is stable in value in time. And it is difficult to counterfeit, or it's difficult to mimic. So these kind of assets, they're great if you can save them, store them, and of course, retrieve them further in the future. So in a way, you're preserving their value in time. I mean, a good example is, of course, gold, where our ancestors were still using gold for as a way of exchanging of exchange means, and therefore this was, let's say, the early form of money and a way of transferring determining the price and also purchasing different products and services in the past, even today. So another thing to look at before we dive into the cryptocurrency. Very often we use money and currency as synonyms. And I would like to just briefly touch on this topic and discuss with you what could be the difference between currency and money. If we start with money and define what money is, let me tell you that money has 6 characteristics. So money is the broader term. A money is a medium of exchange, or it's a unit of account. This is something that you can pay with. So you can use the money to exchange for goods and services. The money should be portable. That's one of their characteristics. So if it's something which is less portable, then obviously this would not qualify as a money. Durable, so they should be resilient to all kind of, let's say, circumstances and, let's say, conditions, as much as possible, of course. They should be divisible. So, for example, $1 can be divided into cents, $100 can be divided into $1, etc. So they should be divisible, so they can be used as a medium of exchange for smaller and bigger goods or services that you would like to purchase. They should be interchangeable, or as they call them, formally fungible. This means that if I give you $100 and you give me 5 times $20, it is still the same value. And last but not least, the 6th characteristics is maybe the most valuable of all. This is that money should be a store of value. So money, imagine gold, it should be, as we discussed in the previous slide, it should store its value in time, and it should be durable enough to preserve that value in time. On the other hand, currency are all of the things above, except they are not store of value. And currencies are those coins and paper money that we're using on our daily basis, on our daily life, in our daily lives. These are the currencies that we are using to purchase goods and services, and we feel through them inflation, not because the goods and the services are getting more expensive, but because our currencies cannot retain their value for longer. That's why it looks like the goods and the services are more expensive, but actually what happens is that the currencies with which we are purchasing these goods and services, they're losing their value. And that's the biggest difference between currency and money. So let's hold on this thought. And let's connect now all the 4, which is assets, liabilities, currencies and money. So you see that currencies and money, they can be assets as long as they bring income, or as long as they produce income, as long as they produce something of value. So this could be cash, this could be savings, it could be, again, foreign currencies that you might expect that they would change their value one way or another. So a currency at the moment can be actually a real money and an asset in the future. On the other hand, the same things, money and currencies, can be liabilities. So if you need to pay your loans, then obviously this is costing you, and normally it costs you currency. But if you can't really have currencies to pay your loans, then you need to use your money. Then at that point, your money becomes a liability. I also put here in a question mark, like your money in a bank, whether they really are your asset or liability. Definitely they're an asset, but not for you. They're an asset for the bank, because they use that money to lend them to other people, and therefore they produce income, or they produce result, they produce value. So it is a little bit, how to say, it is really relative, like how you look at these two concepts of money and currency from the prism of assets and liabilities. Okay, and the last one before we dive into cryptocurrencies. Some of you may have heard already the term fiat money and what that could mean. So fiat money, according to Investopedia, is a government-issued currencies that is not backed by physical commodity such as gold or silver, but rather by the government that issued it. So fiat money, in essence, is something that is produced by government. It is blessed by the government, and it has the guarantee from the government that this type of currency or money is worth something. That's why the word fiat, which is coming from Latin, it says let it be done or let it be, literally means so I said. So the government says, so I said that this thing, this paper that you have in your hands is valued at $100. And this $100 can buy you, let's say, a couple of bicycles, maybe, or a bunch of a loaf of breads. So when, let's just go to the next part of the slide. When the value of the money, or this paper things that we have in our hands, is based on the trust and the confidence in the government that issued it, and this is not any more money, because most of the times those kind of currencies, sorry, those kind of paper things are not backed by any physical commodity such as gold and silver, which is a store of value. So at some point, the government just produces those papers and says, okay, we think, we guarantee that this is worth this and that, but there is no store of value behind. So as you see here from the second paragraph, fiat money have been actually in existence for quite some time, but it was not until the previous century, the 20th century, when most of the countries, they switched to fiat money, meaning not gold-backed money. So we switched to something which is guaranteed only by the government or by some people, individuals, organizations, governments, and they say, okay, behind this paper, that's the value behind the paper. But as you can see, since 1971, the US abandoned the gold standard. So the dollar was backed by gold. So $1 was worth a certain portion of gold. $100 was worth a certain portion of gold. So they were gold backed. And suddenly, after the year 1971, the dollar is not pegged anymore with the gold, which means that it loses the value that the gold has, because it was just a receipt about the worth of the gold, not anymore after 71. So it becomes a currency. Therefore, most of the currencies after this event, they are really representing paper carriers without much of value. Therefore, one of the things that we maybe should take as a moral of this whole story until now is that fiat money are not really store of value. They are actually driving us to the fiat currencies. So fiat money is a sort of a kind of a contradictory term, because money are store of value, while fiat is in a way escaping from the store of value concept. Therefore, what we see in our hands nowadays is currency and not money. Okay, let's see now how this relates to the next topic, which is cryptocurrency. And again, you see here the name currency behind crypto. So are the cryptocurrencies money or they're currencies? And again, remember, what is the big difference between them? The difference between currency and money is whether they are a store of value, whether they keep their value in time. Well, you see here on the screen various types of cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin, of course, being the most famous one and the oldest. I mean, this started leading the trend of cryptocurrencies. And if you read the paper that introduced the Bitcoin currency, so it's called the white paper for the Bitcoin, you would see that one of the primary reasons for existence of this cryptocurrency is to actually challenge the current monetary system, to challenge the current banking system and transfer of wealth from one person to another. The way we do business and the way we transact. This is what cryptocurrency started challenging from the very beginning. So again, according to the dictionary, a cryptocurrency is just a digital or virtual currency, an artifact which lives in the virtual world on the network, secured by a specific algorithm of cryptography, so it is secured, which makes it nearly impossible to counterfeit or double spend. This is something that is important because once you have this digital, let's say digital token living on the network, one of the important things is that it is not duplicatable. I mean, 1 unit of Bitcoin should be worth 1 unit of Bitcoin, and it should not be easily duplicatable or falsified. Most cryptocurrencies, they exist on so-called decentralized networks. So here you're already facing another term, which is decentralized networks. And these are internet networks which are governed by more than one entity. It could be people, it could be organizations, it could be communities. So the whole idea of cryptocurrency is to be decentralized, or to move away of the centralized power of banks and governments, where the rules of transactions, as well as the money or the currencies that are used for transactions, are governed by a small group of people. Now, this decentralized network is commonly called a blockchain. And then I will not bother you too much with how the blockchain works, but the blockchain is a distributed ledger, or it is a piece of software which lives on the internet, and it is distributed between a number of computers, and each computer holds a ledger about each transaction. Now, that might seem a bit redundant, like why would I have my personal transaction, duplicated, replicated several hundred times across the globe? Well, the point here is that when you have a decentralized environment, then the level of trust is much higher if everybody keeps the same copy of the event of the transaction. And this is also a way to compare whether this transaction that happened between two people is the same transaction, or there is a fraud in between. So the whole idea of transacting is with cryptocurrencies is that you always have a level of trust, and this is established through the blockchain technology. When we transact cash with another party, the level of trust is pretty high, because the other party just across, let's say, the table, we are just handing over the cash. They can see the cash, they can, feel the cash, they can count the cash, and they can confirm that the transaction is legit from their perspective. On our side, this transaction is also legit. So we are now having a ledger of two parties, me selling something and the other party buying something. Now, when we are talking about transactions that need to happen across the globe, you would need more than just two people or two parties to confirm that something is legit. That's why we have this decentralized environment, which is based, of course, on blockchain technology, and everything lives on the internet. right? So there is no like parallel network or radio waves, etc. It is all based on internet. Okay, and here is the moment to compare cryptocurrencies with fiat currencies. Now, we already saw that fiat currencies are government-based currencies. So the fiat money are issued by governments. And then the government says, okay, that's the worth of $1. That's the worth of €1. They are not backed by any other commodity of worth like gold and silver, apart from just a promise from the government that this currency is worth something. Now, I'm just going to open a bracket here that, of course, the government has still the right to print as much as they want papers and still say that this is worth something. I digress here. So this is another topic of discussion. But when it comes to cryptocurrencies, a cryptocurrency is a digital or virtual currency which is secured by the cryptography, and it is distributed between different computers. So a cryptocurrency existence normally is not governed by a single person, company, or an entity. The existence of cryptocurrency normally is governed by multiple of those. So you have decentralization on the left side, where things are happening in accordance of an agreement between several parties, and a high centralization when we speak about fiat money or the traditional, let's say, financial system. So this is now the world that we are living in. Since 2009, since the introduction of Bitcoin, we are now introduced to government-based currencies, or the fiat currencies, the ones that we are used to, like all the currencies that we know, and the crypto version of those. Now, the crypto version of those has one major advantage, is that they're decentralized, so they don't depend on a single entity. Now, let's see where this would lead us. So here are the reasons for having and adopting crypto. And then from here, I will lead you to how crypto works and how we can use them. What are the possibilities of using crypto? Because I'm getting very often those kind of questions like, where do I buy crypto? What do I do with crypto when I get it? Can I convert it back to fiat money? So let me show you that. So the people in the middle, this is you and me. So we have interest in crypto. Based on what we already know about the definition of cryptocurrencies, one of the reasons why people would like to have crypto is because of this decentralization and the possibility for financial freedom, meaning that you're not bound to governments and countries. This now becomes beyond governments and countries and continents. So it becomes the money of everyone and not the money of a particular country or government. Also, the way the cryptos are created, most of the cryptos, they have a limit, like Bitcoin has only 21 million, and this would be so until another decision is taken by the community, not by a single entity like government, where they can print money more or less on demand. Another reason for having and adopting crypto is the transparency and security. So we already mentioned that the creation of the crypto is happening on the blockchain, which is actually a software over internet. So this already guarantees certain transparency because everybody can look at what is happening on internet. But it also brings a security that whatever happens there cannot be forfeit. It cannot be falsified. Next to this, and this is actually a big advantage, is that as long as you have network and a mobile phone, then actually you can do a transaction with business of any sort across the globe. So as long as you have network coverage and a mobile device, you would be able to transact. So you would be able to do business. Now imagine all of these people who are unbanked, or all of these people who don't have bank cards, or they don't have credit cards, or they don't have bank accounts at all. So for them, this is a big gain because now suddenly they are having something that allows them to do business. So even a farmer in Kenya, as long as they have, let's say, an antenna on their mud hut, they would be able to do business with someone in Western Europe. One thing which is really important here is that it is borderless. So you don't need to, it is not required that when you cross a border of a country, then suddenly you cannot use this asset anymore, this currency anymore. That's not the case. Innovation and technology advancement, that's the point, is that since the establishment of crypto, a lot of other innovations and novelties appeared on the market, and they're all based on this transparency, security, anonymity, and everything that the crypto world is offering. So this attracts people because what they want to do is to base on this crypto technology all sorts of other activities. For example, if I want to, let's say, digitalize my driving license, then the blockchain, which is a layer on top of internet, would guarantee that this document is always immutable. This document is there to be preserved, and this document belongs to me. Right? So nobody can falsify it, nobody can claim ownership of it. So the utilization of the blockchain technology, which of course crypto has introduced, is creating so much business cases that very soon almost everything will be based on the blockchain. That's an interesting one. Hedging against fiat currency volatility. What if there are cryptos which are a store of value? Can a crypto be a store of value? Can a crypto be an equivalent of gold? I mean, there is no coincidence that here this icon is like gold-like. Can a crypto be a digital gold, which is actually a hedge against inflation, against crises, against recession, and against volatility that can happen with the current currencies that we have? Last but not least, how about having, participating in a community-driven creation of currencies? So it is not one organization, it's not one company, it's not one country that is creating the currencies. No, there is a certain government and agreement behind creating of crypto. So actually it is the money for the people and from the people. Now, let's not forget that with all of these beauties, there are challenges and there are opportunities. And of course, the less we know about crypto, the more challenges we face. And sometimes we become victims of scam. We become victims of fraud, victims of people bullying us or abusing the fact that we are not so much savvy in crypto, because crypto is relatively new. I mean, it's like maybe 20 years in adoption in comparison to all the other, let's say, means of purchase and transacting. So it is not a surprise that nowadays crypto is seen as a hedge against inflation and various economic, factors like recessions, depressions, crashes, and all sorts of, let's say, global events that we are facing right now, because apparently having crypto is relatively easy to transport. I mean, when you compare a crypto with a gold, next to the fact that all of this could be a store of value, then crypto is much easier to transport, right? I mean, imagine yourself being in the war of Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia, and you have a real estate over there, but then it is bombarded and it doesn't exist anymore. It's a bit difficult to transport that kind of asset. And as we discussed, these are assets that have a store of value. Then, for example, a cryptocurrency which lives somewhere on the network. Same is also with gold. And again, I'm not comparing here. I'm far from really attempting to compare, let's say, all of these assets. But at some point, people start looking at cryptocurrencies as a possibility to hedge against inflation and economic factors that are, punishing us all the time. To continue further on the story, people tend to mix two terms, coins and tokens. And I often get questions like, what is a coin and what is a token? A coin is a cryptocurrency which has its own network, its own blockchain of some sort. And in order to develop this, like Bitcoin is a coin, in order to develop this, you require a significant resource, budget, skills of people, and effort to create it. So it would take a year and even more to even create one network of this sort on which you can base a coin. So Bitcoin has a network for Bitcoins. Ethereum, which is another coin, has network for Ethereum. This is where the coin exists and it is used on this. So it is like having different ways of, let's say, purchasing power on different tracks to use them. And in order to create those tracks, you need to have budget, resources, skills, and time. The use of coins is mostly in the form of digital currency. So they are normally used for, let's say, transacting and financial, exchange. But they're also used as a store of value. Like, it is no surprise why Bitcoin is called digital gold, because we have only that much that can be produced of those Bitcoins. So they're in a way they are scarce, like the gold. Again, you can always argue that, well, even if we deplete all the gold on Earth, we can still find an asteroid somewhere where we can find gold. What about the moon? Maybe there is also gold. Well, Bitcoin, as we know, is only 21 million that can be produced. And again, until the community decides otherwise, that's the scarcity that we are facing. So in a way, when something is scarce, then it is an asset that potentially can preserve its value throughout time. Therefore, it's a store of value. Tokens, on the other side, are very light. So they live on top of existing blockchains. So all these examples that you see here, they are tokens, again, cryptocurrencies that can live on the infrastructure developed by one of the coins. So for example, every one of these that we see here, they live and they utilize, they leverage the functionality which is available on these blockchains here. They require much less effort and skill to create. And I'm telling you this because once we talk about, let's say, crypto scams, most of the crypto scams happen from people who are very crafty and they develop tokens which look very much like the original highly adopted tokens, and then people get fooled. I was a witness and I created a presentation about crypto scam where a friend of mine was really scammed by fake tokens. So creating a token is not a big deal. I mean, you just hire a couple of people from Philippines or India or China, and then they can create a token for you that lives on the blockchain of a coin in a matter of a couple of days, even a week. Tokens, of course, when they're created with purposefully, they serve different goals and objectives. They are mostly used for enabling different sorts of services. Some of these tokens are also used as utility tokens, so they serve certain purposes, like they can be used as representative of assets. They provide certain value in a specific ecosystem. For example, they could be used as tokens in a game. They can be used as loyalty points. They can be used as, let's say, identifying certain pieces of art, right? So the new guys, welcome again, and please mute yourself so we can proceed further on.
Yeah.
Thank you. I often face this question, like, how many tokens and currencies we have? Well, there are many. And this graph here is just a representation of how many we have registered. I mean, and these are the registered ones. So you see that it's above 8,000 until the end of the last year. And of course, this is a very dynamic picture. I mean, if I share the same picture tomorrow, it will be different. But the answer to the question, how many, is many. We don't need to know all of them. We don't need to deal with all of them. The most important is that once you understand what cryptocurrencies are, you can decide how to use them and why you use them. When it comes to popularity, what are the most popular cryptocurrencies? Well, you already may have guessed that Bitcoin is one of the most popular ones. And when you have a website like CoinMarketCap, where you can track and trace all the cryptocurrencies and the projects behind them, you can already have an idea about the value of this cryptocurrency against the dollar. So this site here compares a cryptocurrency against one of the currencies that are most popular, and this is the American dollar. Of course, a website like this allows you to switch between currencies, but the point is that we are comparing here digital assets against fiat currencies. From this picture here, you can also see how much those digital currencies are used. So the fact that we have this number here, which is like close to 1 trillion, even more. Yeah, close to 1 trillion means that this is the amount of money that is already put in circulation behind only one of these cryptocurrencies. And that's a big number. I'm not going to spend too much time here on this one. On this screen here, you can see, of course, coins and tokens. So Bitcoin is a coin, Ethereum is a coin, but this one here is a token. So a token means that it lives on the network of an existing coin. Okay, here is the interesting part. So what is a cryptocurrency transaction and who is involved in this? And here we would be talking about some fundamentals. So when we are transacting with money, we normally have a sending party. With normal currencies or money, we have a sending party and we have a receiving party. So on this picture, I'm representing the sending party as a male figure with a wallet, and then the receiving party is a female figure with a wallet. So the wallets, of course, when we talk about digital wallets, they are not really looking like this. We will talk a little bit about digital wallets in a second, but this is where we store our currencies. This is for the time being the explanation. So the sending party will try to send cryptocurrencies over the network to a receiving party. Receiving party also in return can send back either a receipt of receiving, or they can also send cryptocurrencies back to the previous party. All we know, this is actually happening in the blockchain. Remember that the blockchain is actually the one that facilitates this transaction and records every transaction. So this happening, this event is recorded as a transaction. And it has this weirdly long name, so please don't try to remember it by heart. But it has a signature. It has a representation of ciphers and letters, and it represents the uniqueness of this event. So everything that happens between these two parties is registered. When we have a cash transaction, normally this is not registered. It is just an agreement between you and me that we're interacting and we're exchanging cash. Nobody knows about this transaction. The benefit of having crypto transactions is that everything is registered. Therefore, moving further with the characteristics of the crypto transaction, every one of these transactions is immutable, so nobody can change it. Once it is registered, it remains so forever. The transaction is unique, and that's why it has this long number to make sure that whatever has happened is unique, and it is just represented by a string of letters and ciphers. A transaction is private, so even though you might not know who is sending and who is receiving, this transaction is still a private one. Other characteristics of our crypto transactions is that they're considered anonymous, but they are transparent because everybody can look at the blockchain. They can see the transaction number, so they can see that somebody or something sent currency to a receiving party. So they're transparent. Everyone knowing this number would be able to track and trace this transaction. So they're traceable. And people might be interested to trace transactions just to know what happens. So there are also institutions that are tracing transactions for other purposes. And here are just a couple of examples how and where you can trace transactions. So normally you would be using one of these websites, you would put this transaction ID, and you would be able to witness what has happened in the past between two parties, sending and the receiving. Now, one point of caution, people think that crypto transactions are anonymous. And indeed, if you look from a perspective of a single transaction like this one here, you would say, I have no idea who sends to who and what. However, once you associate a wallet with an identity, like a person, a company, or organization, from this moment on, any consecutive transaction is not anonymous anymore, because you would be able to trace every consecutive transaction with this entity, being a person, company, or authority. So one of the things that that people wrongly assume is that transactions are anonymous forever. Again, remember that those transactions are kept forever, meaning that once you have made a transaction, then there is a trace. And if in the future someone is able to link your name with this particular wallet, which received something, and then backwards they can trace through these websites all the transactions that happened to that wallet, then they can trace back all the way what has happened in the past. So even though crypto initially was used mostly by, let's say, people with shady intents, nowadays there are already organizations which are using exactly these kind of websites to track and trace transactions all the way back in years, and they're able actually to prevent fraudulent actions. Of course, the point is to find those companies and ask them to help if you need them. Okay, every time when I'm asked to help people with crypto transactions, I insist in remembering three things. What is the token or the coin that we are transferring? What is the network which we are using for transfer? And what is the receiving address? Here are some examples. A sender has an address. Like if I send a normal post email, an email, yes, then the receiver would be able to see my email address, right? So the same is also in the digital world. We have a network address for the sender, and this is normally an address like this. A receiver also has an address. So when we create and initiate a transaction, one of the three parameters that we need to put here is exactly the same address that the receiver has. So if the receiver has given us this address, this is the same as giving us an email, and we need to ensure that whatever we are passing to this receiver is using the right address. So it is extremely important to keep these three in mind. So what is the token that I am sending? Or I'm sending this token, which in this case is USDT. What is the network that I'm sending this token or coin? Oh, I'm going to be using, in this case, Tron network. And then what is the receiver address? These three things are important in order to create a transaction. So every time when you face with the challenge of sending crypto from yourself to someone else, you're always faced with these three things. What are you sending? Where are you sending it? And to whom you're sending it? I hope it makes sense. Okay, now we are moving into the next part, which is crypto transactions and the big picture. So who are the main players when we have a crypto transaction? So we have these participants here, and I will start decorating them with their role into the game. So a crypto user, you and me, we have the intention to use cryptocurrencies, maybe invest in them and generate revenue. Maybe we live off crypto. Then we have a bank where we keep our money or the fiat currencies. This is where we receive our wages, our salaries. Maybe someone is paying to us via a bank transfer. This is this player here. Then we have something which is called the software wallet. And this software wallet has an interesting function called an exchange, and it will be the one that is able to convert normal fiat currencies, to crypto. So it acts as sort of a bridge between the bank world and the crypto world. So this participant here would take the role of exchanging. So it is like a currency exchange, only it bridges the world between fiat currencies and crypto. It also has the opposite function, which is from crypto back to bank. So these kind of wallets and these tools here, they help you to really exchange your normal currencies to crypto and backwards. Okay, we have a crypto platform which normally operates with cryptocurrencies, either to produce crypto gains or maybe to purchase products and services. So these crypto platforms, they're already multiplying. There are a lot of companies that are already receiving crypto payments for their products and services. Microsoft being one of them, Amazon being one of them, IBM being one of them. PayPal is also enabling cryptocurrency payment. So there are a bunch of those, and they are growing in numbers, which are using cryptocurrencies. Last but not least, here in the corner, we have the so-called hardware wallet, which has a specific function. It has a specific function of securing our cryptocurrencies. So if we want to hold on our currencies, that will be the place to do it. If you look at your normal wallet that you have, your physical wallet, this is where you put your currencies and your banknotes. So the wallet is the place where you preserve them. So it is also the place which, provided it is secure enough, is the place where you would hold them and you would protect them. Now, in the virtual world, of course, you have a certain equivalent, and this is the so-called hardware wallet, or the wallet which is able to protect your cryptocurrencies in a way that nobody else can steal them. Okay, so having said that, let's briefly discuss wallets and exchanges and how this leads to security. Now, I know that this is already getting quite intense with a lot of information, but I'm getting a lot of questions from people like, what is a wallet? What is an exchange? What's the difference? Which wallet shall I use? And of course, it very much depends on the country that you live in, because all these wallets, as we will see, they very much depend on several circumstances in order for them to exist. So the first thing that I would like to check with you here is your understanding of wallets and exchanges. So let's start with wallets. Like with your physical wallet, it is a place where you would be keeping your currencies. In the digital world, a crypto wallet is a software piece which lives on the network, and it enables you to send, receive, and store cryptocurrencies. So your wallet, digital wallet, will allow you to send, to receive, and also to preserve, to keep. Of course, a wallet is a protected environment, which means that you have access to that wallet via a set of keys or passwords, encryption, etc. Like a normal wallet, it allows you to be the owner of what is within this wallet. Now, in the digital world, when you send crypto from your wallet to another wallet, you're not really sending something. Nothing is really like moving. The only thing that is happening is that you are changing the ownership of that thing on internet. So instead of you being the owner of that thing, this cryptocurrency, when you create a transaction and the transaction is passing successfully, what is happening is that the ownership of this token, coin, or digital asset changes. So this is what happens behind the scenes, and since I'm telling you this, you can forget it right now because it's not that relevant. What is important to know is that the wallets represent what you have. Exchanges are different sort of animals. They are, again, software pieces, so they're a bit more elaborated and complex. So that's why they are called an online platforms. Normally, they are created by companies and organizations that benefit of exchanging. So the role of an exchange is to allow you to purchase and sell crypto. So this means that they are acting, as we saw in the previous picture, they are acting as a bridge between the traditional financial world and the crypto world. But also you can exchange one crypto for another crypto. Like I would like to exchange Bitcoin for Ethereum. These are two cryptocurrencies, and I would be able to exchange them the same way I exchange normal currencies. Like if I travel to the States, I would buy dollars for my euros. Exchanges, they allow you to do the following things. They allow you to trade your currencies, buy and sell, convert from one to another, or even stake. And later we will hear a bit more about what stake means. Now, just to complicate the picture a bit more, I must say that there are already, let's say, companies which offer these two in one piece of software. So they offer a wallet and an exchange together, which means that you are getting a piece of software where you can store your cryptocurrencies, you can send and receive, but also part of the software is allowing you also to convert. It allows you also to buy and sell. It allows you also to stake, etc. So it's not a surprise that when we talk about wallets and exchanges, that normally this is just like one piece of software. Most popular exchanges, and this is where people normally ask me, okay, so which exchange or wallet should I use? Well, depends very much on your preference in your country, but there are places to see what are the most popular exchanges. And of course, it depends how these exchanges operate. But here on this picture, you can see the most popular ones. They are sorted here by level of trust and utilization. And also you can see what currencies, like normal fiat currencies, they support. I mean, you here immediately you can see that this one here, for example, doesn't support USD. So they don't support the American dollar for one or another reason. So if you're in the States, you would not be able to use, for example, that exchange. You need to consider something else. Okay, moving on. Hot and cold wallets. This is a story that I would just glance very quickly, because hot and cold wallets very much touches upon the security element of owning and dealing with cryptocurrencies. Remember that most of the times, the fact that we get scammed, the fact that we get uncertain about where is our crypto, the fact that someone else is holding our crypto is because we are not really yet understanding how to be secure in crypto. So this slide here, even though I'm going to be glancing over it, is really important because it reveals your intention of how serious you would like to be with crypto. So a hot wallet is the wallet which is based online. So these are the wallets and the exchanges that I was just talking about. These are the ones that are pieces of software. They exist somewhere online, and then you can create an account there and you can start using them where you can store your cryptos. Now, how secure are they is another question, but normally they provide a decent level of security. They provide an ease of use, and of course, they provide some customer support behind. Now, when it comes to the cold wallets, they are really physical devices. So they look like this. So they are physical devices where you store your cryptocurrencies, and you can use these physical devices also to send and receive cryptocurrencies. So these cold wallets or hardware wallets, they are normally they are not living online, they are just offline. So once I disconnect my wallet, then I would not be using it anymore. And this is not vulnerable anymore because I'm not connected to internet, so no one can really reach it from outside. So here I have listed some benefits and pros and cons for the different types of wallets. So for the hot wallets, I'm going to be just briefly say here, because this could be another discussion on its own about what wallet to select for your own use of cryptocurrencies. I would say a mix of both. The hot wallets, their benefit is that they're highly convenient. They are accessible from internet. So at the moment you hook up your mobile phone, your wallet is there and your crypto is online. Of course, they're less secure because they're prone to attacks. So all of these crypto vagabonds and crypto gangsters, they of course attack the online-based wallets, and they try to penetrate, and they try to steal, they try to abuse, and they try to hack. Which means that you are in a way giving your precious, crypto to another party to take care of them. It's like giving your own cash to the bank and trusting that the bank will do something on for your benefit. The cold wallet, on the other hand, is much more secure, because the moment I unplug it, then it's not online. It's not accessible for all of these gangsters that want to access my crypto. They're an excellent security. They are working like your treasure or safe box that you have in your house or buried in the garden. Of course, if you forget the keys, or if you lose your keys for those wallets, then nobody really can recover anything that is within them. With very few exceptions that I have heard of recovery, a lot of people have lost their crypto because they lost access to their hardware wallets. Again, this is another discussion. So when I have when I interact with people and they tell me, okay, I want to start with crypto, normally we have this discussion like, okay, what is the intention behind you dealing with crypto? Is it like just playing? Is it like investing? Is it like holding because they're a store of value and you believe in that? Then the advice would be to use some of the, let's say, hot wallets like those, or some of the hardware wallets. So for the moment, I'm using Trezor. I'm also having a Ledger. So I have certain experience with them, and they're based like their hardware that you plug to your computer, and then this is the way you access your crypto. Okay, some security tips here, and I'm then moving to the more or less the last part of the presentation here. I know that you might be tired, but please bear with me. Some security tips, and the reason I'm using this slide here is because it is not only to buy crypto, it is also to make sure that you understand the vulnerability that you're exposed to if you don't take any precautions. It is like living um, a bulk of gold in front of your house, hoping that nobody will touch it. It's like you have it, you bought it, but you put it in front of everyone so everybody can reach it, unless you take some precautions, some measures. Right. So here are some security tips when you deal with digital wallets that hold your crypto. Don't put all your eggs, cryptos, in one basket wallet. So consider using a couple of wallets. And most importantly, if you want to become serious in crypto, consider buying a cold wallet, a hardware wallet, and create for yourself a strategy how to use this wallet. And I will show you a couple of them. Always back up your wallets. Being software or hardware wallets, always make sure that you know your passwords, your keys, and they are safely stored. Be careful with your mobile device. Many of the wallets are mobile based. So on your mobile, you can download an app and suddenly you have a wallet where you can store your crypto. Now, you know the vulnerability behind your mobile device. If you keep it unlocked, if you keep it open, you give it to someone else, or you just click on a link and they are able to reach out to your mobile device. For whatever reason, be careful when you operate digital wallets with your mobile device. Be aware of phishing scams. Now, we are now touching the point about scams and phishing is when somebody is impersonating an authority or organization and they are saying that they are going to be working on your behalf, or they want to help you with your cryptocurrencies, or they want to do something for you. Be very aware of that and don't trust anyone. So again, the reason why we have crypto is that the level of trust is low because we want to be independent, because we want to have full control of our digital assets. Avoid storing a large portion of your crypto on an exchange. Now, we said that exchange is based on internet, and this is one of these software wallets or the warm wallets. So an exchange can offer your wallet, but don't store a large portion of your crypto there. Just use only sufficient for you to transact and to do small operations, but the bulk amount of your crypto, preferably, you would store in a cold wallet, in a hardware wallet. Double check always the network addresses when you send crypto from one place to another. Remember that this was the basics, like what is the token, what is the network, what is the network address? Because if you use a wrong network address, you will never see your crypto. And there is no one to help you. So the crypto will just vanish. There are a lot of cases of lost crypto. Actually, this is because people just don't understand the basics of the three fundamentals, like what is the crypto token, what is the network, and what is the receiving address. And because of these mistakes, people just lose crypto. Keep your holdings private. Nobody needs to know what you have. Keep low profile. You don't need to share to the whole world that you have a hardware wallet and how much Bitcoins you have on them. And I would also say something else. If you want to move into the world of crypto, because it is here to stay, I must say, make sure that you pay attention to security. Make sure that you either educate yourself online or you follow a training or a course or you reach out to a friend who already deals with this and make sure that everything that you possess is secured. Because at the moment you have your crypto and you want your freedom, make sure that you have sufficient knowledge and skills to exercise this freedom. Freedom is not free, as we say. So if you want to act as a bank, you need to fulfill the responsibility of a bank, meaning being protected, meaning that if you screw up, there is no customer service to call. So a certain education is needed, and I'm not trying to scare you. It's just the point that once you want to assume this kind of responsibility, you also need to assume the responsibility to learn. And that's why we have sessions like this. And the section about how we earn and spend cryptocurrencies. Okay, so here is the $1 million question. Are cryptocurrencies a safe investment? I would be able to keep this slide open without adding anything here because it depends very much on your perspective. According to Investopedia, cryptocurrencies have attracted a reputation as unstable investment due to the high investor losses, due to scams, hacks, bugs, and volatility. So cryptocurrencies as technology has nothing to do with them being safe or not safe. The point here is that they're unstable investments due to the due to the fact that they're complex and due to the fact that people just don't understand how to use them properly. That's why they expose them to be vulnerable. Again, imagine the situation with the gold that you leave in front of your house. You have purchased something of value, but you leave it unattended or less covered or less protected. And when you don't understand the, let's say, don't understand the circumstances behind owning the crypto, you don't understand what happens, the consequences of not protecting your crypto, it will be stolen. That's why people perceive cryptocurrencies as unsafe. The more you learn about them, the more safer they become. So whether a cryptocurrency for you is a safe investment or not very much depends on your preparedness. So my answer to you would be, regardless of what Investopedia is saying, if you learn something and you master it, then it becomes much more safe and much more protected than anything else. The same is true for everything that we do in our life. I mean, if you are attempting to drive a car and you never drove a car, how safe are you going to be feeling? When we talk about spending crypto, most of the questions that I'm receiving is, here is my lifestyle. I want to improve my lifestyle. I want to create another income stream. I want to become financially independent, or at least I want to be financially stable. I want to leave a legacy. I believe in crypto. How can I get to the crypto space? Then we have a lot of how questions. How do I spend my crypto? Okay, I got my crypto. How do I spend it now? How can I increase my lifestyle by now using this crypto to, cover my costs? I started my crypto business. Now, what now? What can I do with that? How do I take out my crypto gains from a platform or a business? Where can I spend my crypto? And all of these questions, they have answers. So the crypto world is not a dead end. And what I'm going to be showing you right now is some strategies which we can dive in details in another occasion, where you would see that you can live off crypto without going back to fiat currencies. Once you start the crypto cycle, which I'm showing you right now, is like once you transit from the bank and the traditional finance all the way to crypto, by having either your own crypto business or a platform that generates crypto assets, you can still sustain your lifestyle and improve it by just staying here in the crypto world. I can speak from experience, but also I have witnessed people who are living off crypto. Here are the scenarios of how you can do that. And again, this is not a financial advice. This is just an idea of how you can use crypto to sustain your life. Again, this presentation is not based on any crypto platform, opportunity, business, and affiliation to anything. It is like once you decide to move to crypto and you transit from the banking world into the crypto via an exchange, what can happen? So fulfilling those questions is the answer that I'm offering you here. So let's follow this journey. From the bank, again, the same players, the bank role is to keep your fiat currency. We have the exchange, which works as a bridge. Then we have the hardware wallet where we protect our savings, the crypto assets. But now we have two more players. We have another player here, which is called the crypto generating platform. And its purpose is to produce crypto. So maybe it's a business that deals with crypto. Maybe it's an affiliate platform that, as a result of your efforts, pays in crypto. Maybe you have provided certain services and then they pay you in crypto. For example, you're an artist, you're creating an art, and then the platform that you're depositing your art is paying you in crypto. And then the last but not least is where you would be spending your crypto. So that's the platform that you're using to create your crypto. And that's the platform where you can spend them by, of course, buying products, services, food, groceries, cars, boats, houses, whatever you prefer. So here is the interaction between these players here. Let's start small. We use a wallet or an exchange to buy crypto. So from euros, dollars, whatever you have, we can buy crypto by using an exchange. So you need an exchange. After that, you would be creating an account in a crypto platform and you can buy their service or product. Since this is a platform that creates crypto due to your efforts, your affiliation, or because you did something for this platform, you would be receiving crypto as a result. So you have sent some crypto and you have received some crypto. Now you can use this software wallet here to preserve your cryptos because it's an exchange, but also it's a wallet. So it is two in one. That's simple, right? And if you really, really want to bring back your assets back to the banking world and to the fiat world, you can still use the same piece of software to convert your gains back to bank. And you can close the loop. So you can stop here. Most people, once they taste crypto, they want to remain in crypto. So the next slide is showing you already leaving the normal financial world, what you can do. So you still have this cycle here between buying services and products that can generate crypto for you. But this is another way to spend your crypto. You don't need to go back to the bank and convert your cryptos to euros and dollars. Most of these wallets and exchanges, these mega platforms, they offer debit cards through which you can spend your crypto. So if the question is, how do I spend my crypto to, let's say, sustain my lifestyle? That's your answer. Now, if you really want to move 100% to crypto, then you might find platforms that accept crypto payments. And I already mentioned a couple of them. There are already a number of websites where you can buy booking and, for example, travels and holidays only by using crypto. You can pay for services, for telephone services. You can pay for groceries also with crypto. So actually, you don't need to go back to the banking world once you generate these crypto assets. That's the message that I'm trying to convey here. That's why this one is gray, because you're leaving the world of, let's say, fiat currencies if you want to stay in the crypto world. So if you want to be 100% crypto, then you find a way to generate crypto based on your efforts. You receive crypto as a reward and you can spend them. And if you need to know more about what are those platforms that accept crypto payments, just Google or send me a message. When it comes to security, of course, I mean, once you generate all of these assets, one way is to bring them back to bank and leave your assets there. And you know what happens with your money in the bank. They become an asset of the bank, but not really your asset because they become the asset of the bank. They are there. What if I share with you a proposal just to consider storing them in a hardware wallet? So you see the counterpart, the software wallet, and the hardware wallet. So in the hardware wallet, you can store everything that you're not kind of expecting to spend immediately. So from this crypto platform, you can actually send directly to your hardware wallet and preserve. From your hardware wallet, you can still spend. So the same way you spend from the software wallet, you can spend from the hardware wallet. There is no difference. The difference is that here the software wallet owns your assets and you have access to them through your account, while here you're a full possessor of your assets and with all the responsibility behind. Now, here is if we put everything together. Now, I know that this picture is a bit complex, but that's the picture that I think you should have if you decide to move into crypto, because you're moving into a parallel world of transacting and finance. So first you need to understand what is crypto. Second, I would say you need to understand how to be protected. And only then you can brainstorm of how you generate the crypto, how you can spend your crypto, and what means you have to store, to secure, to send, convert, etc. So that will be my message for you. And I have a very short here presentation about the crypto scams and prevention, because this is how we started the discussion with this group, is what is it that is out there? What can go wrong? And I shared with you that I already created a full presentation, full blog presentation about crypto scams, which I would encourage you to watch, not because it is mine, but because I had a lot of ambition to create that presentation for the crypto scams and a lot of pain while creating it, because I was a victim of crypto scam. And when I saw and heard so many people being scammed, this inspired me to create this other presentation, which is also a separate education module about how to uncover crypto scams and how to prevent yourself from even falling into these traps. So here I'm presenting to you a very light version of that, just so that we can connect the dots, right? And the dots are, when you leave your assets unattended, they will be stolen. It's not a matter of if, but it's a matter of when. It's a matter of time. So with a lot of pain, I would like you to still hold on to that a couple of slides here and be with me until I share this, because I know that it might be a burden for some of you. So what is a crypto scam? Like any other scam, if you're defrauded, or when you are, when your money or right of something or property is stolen, then it is considered as a scam. So scam is nothing new. What is new is that scam is now moving into the digital world, where crypto scam is the process of someone using a deceptive practice to steal from you. That's very simple. And I'm not going to bother you with all of these things behind, but actually all of these that are here at the bottom, all of these are different forms of scam. All the way from the very simple ones, like someone is saying, okay, if you give me access to your wallet, I would deposit something for you. Or here is my website and it is very trustworthy. If you deposit something here, I will return it back twice or 3 times or whatever. And then you enter a website which is beautifully designed, but with a lot of missing pieces. Now, these are easy to spot scams, but there are many other scams that I have faced which are very well crafted and very hard to distinguish. And I also need to say that because a lot of people are falling into crypto scams, they consider crypto as a scam. So please distinguish here these two things. Crypto as a technology is a beautiful technology. It had its own purpose, and the purpose is to decouple from the traditional financial system, to offer people the power to be independent, not to be scammed. So crypto as a technology, as an initiative, is not a scam. The way people are using crypto would lead to scam. And of course, people who are smarter and a bit more tech savvy, They're abusing this technology and the vulnerability of people, the lack of knowledge of people, to steal from them. So this is a very low level activity with a low frequency, which generates a lot of negativity and a lot of pain. So if you remember this picture here, the sending party, the receiving party, and a transaction, what a transaction is, when we look at this particular picture and we ask ourselves the question, what can go wrong? All of these elements of the transaction can go wrong. So if we start with, let's say, the transaction, so a sending party is sending something to the receiving party. So someone is on the phone and he or she says, okay, send me something in return of whatever benefit. So this transaction can be intercepted by a malicious actor here. And then the transaction with your hard-earned assets is sent to this malicious player, which is invisible and never comes to the actual recipient. The same is true also with the wallets. I mean, this wallet can be hacked. Someone can say, okay, if you give me access to your wallet or your account, I will do this for you. So never, never, never give access to your wallet to someone else, especially if you don't know them. If it's a trustworthy person who knows a little bit more and is willing to help, fine. Another thing that can happen wrong is also here, if you send the transaction without respecting the three important ingredients, like the right token, the right network, and the right address. So once you change one of these parameters and they are not the ones that the receiver is expecting, then the receiver will never receive their money. Again, I don't want to go into the details here about this. There is a whole presentation that I have done on that. And I presented 2 real cases there, so you can watch it at your leisure and see at least examples of how scams are unfolding and what you can do to prevent yourself from falling into this. So that's why I allowed myself here to present you a checklist that I am using when I am evaluating a new crypto business or a new crypto opportunity. Being a cryptocurrency or a crypto business, I always use this kind of list to go through and check this business and see if it makes sense to me. If any one of those is not fulfilled, and I have a little bit more than just this list of 7 steps, then this is a red flag and I don't join it. Not anymore. So of course, this list has been crafted in time. I have not grown and being, invulnerable. I have been vulnerable and I have been hacked several times. So if you're one of those people who have been falling a victim, it is really up to you how you feel from this moment on, because you have a choice. You can remain a victim, suffer, struggle, curse the whole world, or you can decide to move on, learn from your bad experience and become a victor, inspire others, protect others. Make sure that once you fall a victim to a crypto scam, you stop immediately with this other party, with this organization. Stop, cease further engagement. You gather evidence, you report them. There are authorities where you can report them. You can alert authorities, bodies, etc. But one of the most important things is inform your fellow community members. This is really important. So it is not only saving your own skin, but it's also, saving the other souls around you. Okay, guys, 5 more minutes and then we're done. I know it's too much. And I said to you already at the beginning that with this kind of course, there will be a lot of information. And that's why we have now the recording. You can watch it again. But this also gives you an incentive of how big the crypto space is. So one thing is to want it. Another thing is to do it. And yet a third thing is to master it. Because most of us here are doers, so we are already doing it. But until we master it with the confidence, there is always a risk of falling apart, being scammed, losing our crypto. Yeah, so The point of this presentation is to bring awareness what is out there so that you can decide how far you would like to go. So here with this couple of slides that I'm having here is just more things around the cryptocurrencies, some things that you might have heard without moving too much into details. So one thing that you might have heard is the word smart contract. A smart contract is a piece of software that executes transactions. Now, why is it so important for us as crypto people? Oh, because very often when we would like to use cryptocurrencies for, let's say, a bit more advanced operations like trading, like we want to verify the authenticity of something, we might use automated pieces of software. And here is where the smart contracts are coming into place. Actually, they're not very smart. They're just pieces of software which are executed based on certain events. So if something happens, then the execution of this piece of software happens, and then a result is produced. And this result could be that you have a gain from a trade, or you have a certain authorization to access a certain piece of software, etc. So these are small pieces of software that are programmed to serve you. And they are based on an agreement. That's why they're called a contract. Smart contracts, they are used to automate as much as possible transactions that are happening in the crypto world. So they are eliminating completely the need of a human presence. And because they're executed on the blockchain, they are completely transparent. They are readable. You can see exactly what is happening behind this piece of software. And if you are able to read it, you can understand what is happening. Smart contracts are very much related to the world of DeFi and CeFi. So DeFi stands for decentralized finance, or everything that you know in the current space about banking system and the services that they're offering. We have equivalent services, financial services, I'm saying here, in the digital world. So services like lending, borrowing, trading, servicing, acquiring, all of these financial services that we're used to in the traditional world of banks, they can be performed in the digital world. And this is where the smart contracts are coming into place. So if you say, I would like to borrow a certain amount of money, then a contract is triggered. If you pay your debt, then you are settled. If you don't pay your debt, then everything which you have given as a collateral will be claimed. And there is no negotiation. That's why it's a smart contract. There is no human behind to call and say, hey, can we postpone with a couple of days? So this is DeFi, and the other side is CeFi, or the centralized finance. Decentralized finance is when everything is happening without intermediaries. You see here the blue line. So all of these financial services are available. They are created, they are available, but they are not really having any intermediaries like banks or financial institutions. The CeFi are also digital services related to finance, but they are normally provided by traditional institutions like banks or insurance companies. So again, we are talking about financial services, both on the blockchain. The DeFi are decentralized, so there is no body behind, which means a lot of freedom, transparency, and trust. And then you have the CeFi, where you have more flexibility, but then they're provided by traditional banking institutions, and we know more or less what to expect from them. Another thing that is very popular nowadays is the NFT, or the so-called non-fungible tokens. These are unique items, digital items. Before I call them assets, again, remember what the meaning of the word asset is that it provides value. So these are digital tokens that represent piece of art, but they can also represent something else like a birth certificate or company certificate or driving license that is unique, and it is represented on the digital world. They are one of a kind. Some of them look like what you see on the screen, and they have some collectible value. Some of them are just as personal as your driving license. All of this can be digitalized, and it's a proof that you own it. I will skip this slide because it's getting a bit too much, and that slide as well. Also, I will skip stacking and farming. I would like to move directly to the last slide here, which is your next steps. You would ask me, okay, now I joined this lesson here. What's next for me? As always, the only thing that I would advise you from this call is stay educated. So when I started with crypto, someone gave me this book, The Bitcoin Standard. And this is the book that explains why we have crypto. It explains the basics of finance that I just explained to you. So I took some extract from the book to share with you. So these two books, The Bitcoin Standard and In the Internet of Money, have been for me the Bibles around what is crypto, what is Bitcoin, what is the relationship between them and those things that look like gold and store of value. So my advice would be those books are available online for free. If you Google them on YouTube, you will find them for free. You can listen to them and you can really, really prepare yourself for the world of crypto. And with this, I would like to thank you. I will stop share. And let's see who is left. And I know that it has been a very exhaustive journey for all of you guys. And I'm really grateful that you stayed till the end. And you're still blinking. Thanks everyone for this. I will stop recording here. And if you have any questions, let's cover them. Let's give ourselves 10, 15 minutes. If there is something else that you would like to cover or discuss, we can always brainstorm how to do that. So I'll stop recording now.